All right, here we go. Here we go. We about this life. Oh, what a crazy week, man. Crazy week. No. We're about this life. We're about this life. I'm running solo today. Oof. Pray to the podcast gods that this runs smoothly. Let's get it. And what is up? Welcome back. It is Sunday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and you're going to see that I'm here solo today, which is normal. It's all right. Brian right now is, of course, out there in the world. He's doing some crazy stuff. Actually, right now he is in Cancun. What's up, bro? Mike, I'm just talking to you right now on the phone and now here on the chat. That's super cool. Thank you for joining, man, of course. But yeah, Brian right now is in Cancun. He went for a wedding this past weekend. He let me know like a couple of weeks ago that he was going to be out. And well, Triggs, my other co-host, he is right now currently doing a gig for work. He's a bartender. So sometimes, not all the time, he gets called in on Sundays and stuff. But yeah, we're here and it's Sunday night again with the Average Boys podcast. We're about to get into the nerd stuff. But of course, usually we talk about our week. So week's been pretty normal. It's been pretty chill. Usually we'll jump into the podcast and let people know what's up. For me, it's been pretty normal. You know, I'm in the process of moving my gym to a new location. So I have a lot of my fighters that'll call me up and you know, just talking about where we're going to be moving and stuff like that. And, you know, Moldrick's been helping me out too, which is very, very dope. I really appreciate it. So like this opportunity to be able to branch out again, open up my own school, a lot of responsibilities come into terms and a lot of focus on it. But like, it's nothing that I haven't been like, it's something that I'm not accustomed to. I used to run a gym, you know, for several years already. So stuff up. So, the Penguin ending. I have not seen the finale. I'm barely jumping into the series right now. So I want to say episode 4. What's up, Ashley? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm running it solo today. So let's pray that I could do this in such a good way. But yeah, today it's me and focus on the camera work today. So always a good thing when it comes to running a podcast. I've been doing this for, man, I want to say like 5-6 years already that I've been doing a podcast before the coronavirus situation, right? We've had all this opportunity to kind of like run podcasts the way that we wanted to. And, you know, I've never shied away from getting the challenging aspects. So like having the opportunity to come out and practice by myself and be able to talk to a crowd of people, or at least someone in the comment section, what we've created, the little community that we got, it really gives this opportunity for me to, you know, really work on my hosting skills, right? You know, you could take those type of skills and apply it to, you know, radio shows or events, being a VJ, being someone that's on the microphone, a host or whatnot, or a ringleader or whatever you want to call them. Just that opportunity to go out there and be like the man at arms for events. So the opportunity to do this is always a challenge, I would say, but I'm always up for the occasion and the opportunity to, of course, to talk to the people here in the comment section. I really enjoy this. So yeah, like I said, it's been a pretty chill week. All we've been doing is searching for a location for the new gym. And of course, teaching my guys. Of course, I have 2 of my fighters. One of them was out there. He's getting ready for Worlds. Adonis, he's a good friend of mine, a good student. He's out there getting ready for Worlds in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he lives in Arkansas now. I think he's in Texas right now, kind of like traveling around and training and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Then, of course, I have the Urbina brothers, which are good friends of mine and students in the same thing. Like they come to me whenever they're in town or they have opportunities. And they recently were in the camp for John Jones. So it was really nice to see that, you know, the Valley getting representation out there going out there and helping one of like the world-class elite fighters get ready with the Urbina brothers, right? So that's super dope. And of course, Urbina, back in Fury when he fought here, me and him, we trained dramatically for a lot of like the striking aspects that I thought he could kind of like correlate new into his game, and he was able to do really step up his striking with some like, you know, real fancy stuff. And in Urbina's fight, he was able to throw like a spinning back kick right at the beginning of this fight, you know, right on accuracy, right at a liver shot, you know, do a lot of good. And you know, it just so happens that John Jones goes out there and defeats Stipe yesterday, Stipe with a spinning back kick in the same fashion. So I wonder if, you know, I'm going to be able to talk to Elias. He's already in Texas. So that opportunity to sit down, talk to him and see if he was able to like, you know, correlate the idea that some of the work that we did was able to help, you know, facilitate John Jones in winning that fight. That's super nice. So, you know, just that opportunity to know that our influence is, you know, the Valley influences all over the place is super cool to know about and super good to know. Yeah. So that was really cool. Of course, we have to acknowledge the it's not going to be a long show today, guys. So since it's by myself, I don't really get to have that opportunity to really bounce ideas off of like my co-hosts and stuff and keep the conversation going. So I'll be able to work off the comment section if people jump in with us too. So Jamie, what's up? Good to see you, my girl. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello. I super appreciate it. I love it. Today I'm running the show solo, so I'll be here for at least an hour or two, probably about an hour and a half that I'm going to really run this. I do have a couple of comments and a couple of things that I'm going to be touching base on for the nerd culture. So we are going to be talking about some things. So, but thank you. I really appreciate you so much. But yeah, the acknowledging the elephant in the room. Of course, everybody this past weekend was blessed, I guess you could say, with the opportunity to see a living legend come back from retirement to fight, of course, a young, brash fighter, which was the Tyson Jake Paul fight. If you got to see it in the comment section, let me know what you guys thought of it. I did not watch it at all. I protested the fight. I thought it was a bad idea. I understand that Tyson, you know, being that when he was young, he made a lot of mistakes in his life, like a lot of us do. But since his culture was, you know, it was very open to just doing whatever he wanted, kind of like a street kid, very Aladdin, if you must say. Tyson jumped right into it like Conor McGregor. Like he instantly rose in fame. You know, he fought some really good names at the time. And then he instantly got into the, hey, what's up, Danny? Good to see you. Instantly got into the popularity aspect. Yo, what's up, Biggie? Good to see you, my man. Instantly jumped into the progress of him, you know, being having power, you know, being an elite person, having a lot of money at the time. And in that aspect, he kind of suffered the same way a lot of the youth of the fighting community do, which is like they go out there. Netflix too. There was no way that Netflix was going to be able to take a fight like that. They just don't have like the power of the streaming service to be able to do that stuff. I knew it was going to be crazy. And then all the people that were like falsely streaming it, that weren't even like, you know, they didn't even pay for it. They were trying to like just pirate it. You know what I mean? There was just so much mess. But like Mike Tyson had made a lot of mistakes when he was younger, and you know, now that he's in his elderly life, you know, he's paying for it in such a harsh way that, you know, he has to do like not really seminars, but for a minute he was doing like a comedy tour. He's doing a lot of podcasting. He's traveling a lot. He's never really home with his family. You could tell by his interviews that he was talking to about like his children not really respecting him and stuff like that, that the man, he's living a pretty hard life for himself. So I understand where a person in his nature, to see the sport of boxing and MMA and all this stuff grow in such a way that fighters are making millions of dollars per one fight, especially like the Paul brothers, who are like these Disney kids. So Tyson sees that and he's like, geez, like these fucking kids that grew up in such a privileged kind of life, like they're out here making millions in the sport that I came from the streets and had to fight tooth and nail and be scared and stuff like that. And I didn't even make that kind of money, but what are the odds if I can, you know what I mean? Like, so this opportunity for him to come out of retirement and fight like Jake Paul, I believe his payout was 10 million that he made. So like with that, he's going to be able to catch up on a lot of his bills, but it's just sad to see, man. It's sad to see because the legacy of Mike Tyson is it gets tarnished by these kind of things. Of course, I'm not saying that him losing to like a whole young kid is going to be a deal breaker, and everyone's going to be like, oh man, what a fake and a phony. Like, no one's going to be that way. But it's just so sad to see. Like, it really is. And I've been really adamant about talking to people and letting them know my opinion on the situation, which is like from the very beginning of Mike Tyson going on like the Joe Rogan podcast and being like kind of like what is it? When people like don't force you, but they put you in a position where they make you take drugs and shit. You know, Mike Tyson had sobered up. You know, that's the whole joking point about him with pigeons and all this other stuff. Like, there was times where Mike Tyson as a man had to learn to control his anger issues by going to therapy and doing all this stuff that he probably believed was like the weakest shit to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for the masculinity part, like the survival, the street, like knowledge and stuff like that, the street life that he lived, he probably thought seeking some type of help for mental issues was probably like the weakest thing as a man that he could do. And he had to because he knew he was doing wrong in his life. He knew, especially after his daughter died. You know, he went through a lot of like life altering situations and he went out there, he sought help and found it. And there was a moment that, you know, he was living such a beautiful life, dude. Oh, okay, so Mike made 20 million. That's even better, bro. That's blessings for him, man. He deserves it, man. He really, really does. He's lived a hard life and he's changed and stuff like that. It's a very like Cinderella story when it comes to Mike Tyson's life. Of course, we all know that during, you know, his youth, he did some fucking horrible things, man. I don't remember the lady he was dating that he like abused like sexually, and I think he like, you know, he had a lot of sexual abuse cases against him, and he was actually abusive towards the lady that he was dating. I just forgot her name, and he spent time in jail and he got out and instantly went back to boxing because that's the only way he knew how to make money. And, you know, there was just a lot of things against him. So for him to find peace and for him to find himself as a human being, a nice human being, it was very nice. And then, you know, he started doing all these podcasts, you know, smoking again, doing shrooms and all of these things. Like, you could kind of see like the deterioration in society where people were kind of like, oh man, it'd be super dope to get you back in the ring, you know, at 55, at 54, like on the Joe Rogan podcast and all this other stuff. And yeah, I kind of felt like it was a bad situation that was coming where they were going to initiate this idea for him to come back. And of course they did the Roy Jones Jr. fight. And if you're at least this much like understanding in boxing, or like an actual person who studies fighting and stuff like that, you knew that Roy Jones didn't go out there to try to beat him up or anything like that. He literally just let him work. Like, he literally let him have the opportunity to just do what his dream was, which was to come back. And it was a nice thing for Roy Jones Jr. to do, especially since, you know, they acknowledged it as an exhibition. You know, he moved around with him. Roy Jones was a little bit more, I think he was like 2 years younger or 4 years younger. So he's a little bit more pep in his step, you know, doing stuff. But the reason why Mike Tyson even felt that way was because he had did a session for HGH out of state. I want to say like in Puerto Rico or something like that. When all the MMA guys and the Joe Rogan podcast guy and, you know, TJ Dillashaw and all those dudes were out there doing it. So, you know, Mike Tyson did it, which gave him this whole like new, gave him like this whole new step of life. You know, that all that stuff makes it to be where, you know, you feel super good, you know, you feel super young. And, yeah, like that's where, of course, like the Roy Jones Jr. fight came from. And then with the Jake Paul fight, like, man, I don't even know how you guys feel about this. Like it just breaks my heart watching him do this stuff. There's even that one part when he's in the in his corner and he kind of like, you could see it in his face that he's just like so emotionally beaten. Like, he just didn't want to be in there. And even when he was doing his interview at the end, like, that fucking broke my heart, I swear to God. To see him kind of like tear up, to know that he's putting himself through hell, you know, getting hit and stuff like that at fucking 60 years old. Mind you, some of you people have never been hit before in your entire fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't even know what it feels like. But to be at 60 and doing that, where you're like, you know, it's just, it's hard to get out of bed. I'm fucking 43 and there's days I get out of bed and my back is fucking killing me, dude. So like, to see this man come up at 60 and jump in the ring and do that stuff, like, much respect for fucking Tyson. And I'm so happy at the end of the fight during his interview that I only got to see because I don't care to watch the entire fight. There's no way I'm going to watch, someone that is like a hero in our sport, like to go out there and just get manhandled by some fucking idiot. He said like, early in the fight that he just knew like he wasn't about this anymore. He doesn't have that anything. And mind you, like, he went in there with all his hype men and all the pieces of shit that are around him and Jake Paul and all these dudes that are like, nah, bro, it's going to be easy. You're going to go out there and make, a fucking couple million and all this stuff, which is true. I mean, I don't know anybody in their fucking life that wouldn't go out there to win 20 million for like, a fucking, 4 rounds or whatever rounds at 3 minutes. Like that's just, and or even to get knocked out. Like there's dudes that get choked at Brazilian jiu-jitsu seminars just to get choked by someone famous. You know what I mean? So like that opportunity for him to go out there and make money. I mean, I don't think he's going to, throw it away. But like just to see this dude like break down, that fucked me up, man. That fucked me up tremendously. So like I hope that boxing has learned its lesson and no more of these like legends in our sport, these people, these fucking pillars in our sport say yes to this fucking atrocity, like this audacity, this fucking menace of a promotion. And I hope, I know that Jake Paul is out there calling out Canelo, which I mean, if you guys are in the comment section, you let me know what you feel about that. I hope Canelo laughs at his fucking ass and just says like, why, dude? You're not doing anything in this sport to get that. There's hundreds of real boxers out there that are fucking hitting the gym every day, which I'm not saying Jake Paul's not, but they're in the gym. They're fucking sparring the right people. They're going through the right courses. They're sparring in the amateurs and the pros, and they're doing the right pathway. And this privileged dude has found a way to loophole around boxing as a consistency and say like, oh, well, you know what? I don't want to fight all the upcomers because I don't want, there be a chance that I suck at my sport. So I'm just going to make my own. I'm just going to create my own promotion and fucking set myself up for all the money and use my popularity to build it up and then bring in these boxers who, of course, fight in real promotions and get them to come my way. Because it makes the fucking sport look stupid. Like the Tyson Paul fight, I saw like hundreds of people online that are on my Facebook that I know nothing about fighting, like no jack shit about fighting, which is nothing against them, but like out there coming up with like weird reasons as to why Tyson didn't win, thinking that they thought he was going to win in the first place. Like no fucking fighter in the world. I could even show you, I wouldn't show you, but we have a group chat with all my fucking amateurs and my fighters that I've been teaching for years. And we're in there. And a lot of people are probably thinking the same thing that all you guys are doing, which is like, man, I really hope Tyson goes out there and fucking swings, throws a punch and it clicks and knocks out Jake Paul cause fuck Jake Paul. Right? Like that's the theme. That's the theme is like, he's done so many horrible things to the sport that you just fucking hate him and you want him to lose. But that's his whole shtick. Like if you go back to like him making content, him becoming who he is, even his brother, Logan Paul, like those guys did exactly what they're doing to the sport of boxing, but they did it in content creating, which is like, you knew who Logan Paul was. You just hated his guts for like the way he disrespected like the entire country of Japan and shit like that. Like you knew that he didn't have to do that, but he did it anyways. Cause he knew it was like such an egregious thing that he knew it was going to cause a debacle and it was going to cause the internet to go crazy. And so Jake Paul's doing, he was like, well, you know what? Like Mike Tyson, he's still a huge name in the sport because he's a legend. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. Let me go out there and say we're going to fight. So that way I could be like, here I am crushing your legends. Like prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And this is what we're getting, dude. Like, I don't think anybody was ever hyped for Jake Paul when he fought Anderson Silva or Tyrone Woodley or Ben Askren. Like nobody was hyped for this dude. Like he's just calling out these guys that are like retired. You look at Ben Askren, like he looked like he was in like the fucking worst shape ever of his life. He didn't even cut weight. He went up in weight and he looked fat. Anderson Silva, like, he's fought the very best in the MMA sport. And, it's like GSP, like those guys, they already went through all their shit. And here's this dude that comes out and he's like, hey, man, I'm going to fight you for reals, but you can't use your fucking elbows, your knees, your kicks, your punches. Like you can't use your feet, your knees, your elbows. You can only use your hands. And that, if you don't understand fighting, like MMA and boxing are two different strategies when it comes to how you fight in that game. So like it takes like a whole other understanding. It's like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's like BJJ guys out there saying that they're fighting and they're only just grappling or struggling with each other. Where grappling, it's not the same. As you can't say like a BJJ situation is the same as a boxing situation or a kickboxing or a Muay Thai or anything like that. You can't, because it's just not the same shit. It's not the same shit. So like, yeah, I don't know where. I don't know where it goes from here. Like Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, right? And he won, which is, again, beating up a geriatric 60-year-old man. You know what I mean? Like you guys all saw it. There was no way. His body just was not allowing him. And you could tell that's like anyone that's in their 50s going into their 60s. Like that's the way their body moves. You probably see that across the board, even like when you go like lift weights at gyms and you see that shit. Yeah. I don't know where Jake takes this shit after. Of course, he wants to fight Canelo, but Canelo's just going to laugh at him because he's a fucking joke. Like, he's a joke for what he's done for his career, Jake Paul. So, yeah, I really don't see it. Maybe another boxer will call him out. Like, it would, but again, like, the reason why Jake Paul calls out Canelo instead of anyone else is because of the name Canelo. It's synonymous with this idea that he is the face of boxing. So he thinks, since I am the face of my boxing promotion and I've created my own belt and I have that belt and I've fought these specific fighters, like I have a belt, you have a belt. That means we're the best at our sports and do this. That's the equivalence if I fucking made I don't know, dude, like a fucking pool organization and gave myself my own fucking trophies. Or you know what I mean? Like, and then started challenging like, all the other like professional pool players that are like Olympic level. Like Jake Paul is just, it's fuck, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, we had the Tyson Jake Paul fight. If you got to watch it, let me know in the comment section if you liked it or you didn't like it, or what you guys what your highlights of the fights were and stuff like that. And yeah, Robert puts in the comment section, UFC was a better fight last night. Yeah. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, John Jones versus Stipe. Like, it was pretty good, man. How did you guys think of the UFC fight if you got to watch it? I know, John Jones fighting a full-time job, firefighter, and having that opportunity to fight against someone who like literally only gets opportunities to be in the gym at his age. Stipe, he's been kind of out of the game for a minute, got a lot of ring rust. So like, it was an interesting fight, but so is John Jones, I guess you could say. I know there's another guy in the UFC that a lot of people are asking to make sure that John Jones can probably kind of get with him. And it makes a lot of sense. But again, John Jones is in this situation where like even himself, I could look it up right now. Like, let's look it up. Let me go over here. Let's go to Google. John Jones age. This dude's pushing 37. He's almost 40 years old. And the guy that they're looking for him to fight is Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall is a fucking monster, but the guy's literally like fucking almost 8 years younger than him. Stipe is 42. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's like, Stipe needs to just retire and just be retired and really just chill, man. You don't see guys fighting all the way to these ages. Alex Pereira would be an interesting fight, but he's 37, which is the same age as John Jones. But Alex Pereira, he deserves the opportunity to defend his belt at his level, unless he chooses to want to go up and fight a John Jones that's literally got almost like 15, 20 pounds of extra body on him. You know what I mean? So like Alex Pereira, I think he's a good champion. I think he works for what he's doing. But like, if he decides to take a fight going upwards, like, I wouldn't really call it for John Jones to make that call out. I would make it more in the sense of Alex wanted that fight. John Jones is, he came out, he did really well. He probably has like maybe 2 more years, maybe to the 40, 42, maybe, if he wants to go Stipe's length. But like he's got a couple years left, and he's already he's been a champion. He's just got to defend it or do whatever he wants to get to, whatever it is that he wants. I really do. I just don't even know where he goes from here. Like I really don't. Like he's going to be jumping around in different weight classes until they find him someone. What's going to eventually happen is John Jones retires, good, like undefeated in his situational shit or whatever. Like, and maybe gets his belt, maybe doesn't get his belt. I don't even know what's going on with that. But or yeah, he fights a younger dude that Dana White just wants to make $1 billion off of him and gets him to get his fucking ass kicked, because that's literally all that's left for him, really. I mean, that's what they're trying to do with this Tom guy. And John Jones, I think, acknowledged it in his post-fight interview. He's like, I see what you guys want. Like this Tom guy, he's like 6 years younger than me. He's out here, going through the division really well. I'm pushing 37, 38. Like, I get it. I really do. Like, I get, like, you guys want me to go out there and fight this, like, younger guy with more energy and like a less fights under his record. And it's, he's not dumb, man. He knows he's got people out there that just want to see him get his fucking ass kicked. And I mean, it sucks, but that's just the way the game is played. You know what I mean? That's the way the sport is. So, yeah, John Jones's fight, it went pretty solid for him last night. That camp really paid off with all the people that were helping him. I think he has, with the way he was moving and the way he, he's a survivalist kind of guy. Like he fucking makes his body work for him. So, maybe into his 40s, but I just don't see someone in the division coming through him. And the Tom Aspinall guy is probably like the next best thing for him. So, yeah, it'd be kind of interesting, I guess you could say, like, for what it's worth. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you guys watch or catch up to the UFC, what did you guys think of it last night? What did you guys think of the main event? What did you guys think of the prior cards, Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira and whoever else fought? I don't really know who else fought in that card. So, yeah, let me know what's up in the comment section. But yeah, it's 8:30. We can start going into our conversations of what we're going to be covering. So, right, going into nerd news, guys, because that's really what we cover here. Like, even me talking about sports, that's fucking wild as shit. Like, I never get that opportunity. And of course, I usually talk to it with Brian more than anyone. So, yeah, like I said, if you guys have any comments about the Tyson fight or the UFC fight, and you want to ask me any questions that you're like, yo, I saw this, or I saw this in the fight, like, it would be really cool. Like, even the concept, I think someone put up earlier, boxing with nude butt Robert, talking about Mike Tyson in the interview, walking around with his nalgas out. Like, Tyson's always been that kind of crazy guy. If you know who Tyson is, like, that dude's always in the gym. He always has his personal coach with him, which is one of the coaches from the Blackzilians. I want to say the Blackzilians gym, which is what's the fucking guy? He used to fight back in the day for the UFC. Oh, fucking yeah, you can look him up. I know he's just a Brazilian guy that's a really good boxing coach. He's the guy that holds pads for him now and has been getting him ready. And yeah, if you ever go back and watch any of his videos from like way back in the day, Tyson's always been like that, where he's either training just with like his cup on, or he's training with like his underwear, because he's usually doing privates. He's not like in a public gym anymore. He's got his own place that he does his stuff, and no one really bothers him while he does it. So, like, I know a lot of people were last night going like, dude, what the fuck? Like, why is this guy all P. Diddy'd out in the back? But literally, like, anyone who knows Tyson doesn't question it, because, he's a legend. It's just what he does. It's just how he trains. It's what he does. That's like, fuck, I don't even know if you guys even knew this or anything like that. But like, there's like Chuck Liddell, one of the fucking best known MMA fighters in the world. There's like, everybody knows that him and his wife, like, that they train nude, like, in all this stuff, like, in the community. We all laugh at it because we think it's funny, but like, yeah, like, if they're in their own personal houses, it's, it's what they do. Like, they just train in the Johns, man. But yeah, it wasn't like a big surprise to see that kind of crazy shit happen yesterday. I'm surprised it didn't get weirder. Like I said, the post-fight interview with Mike Tyson, talking about how he doesn't have it, him crying in the corner, like, kind of like not wanting to be in the situation of him being assaulted. Like, it kind of sucks to see, but it is what it is in the sport, man. So, like I said before, like, let's hope Tyson and doesn't want to do this anymore, and he stays retired and just lives that life. Robert says, and he ain't going to fight Canelo. No, he's not, dude. Canelo ain't gonna give two shits about Jake Paul. Canelo, he said he would never fight him. There's no point in him fighting him. You know, Canelo himself makes fucking millions of dollars already. He's like the Mayweather fight. Mayweather's just that dude where he's like, yo, I'm gonna make cash, dude, off of this stupid kid. And well, not him, but was it like Logan Paul or whatever? Like he fought a dude that was like 20 pounds bigger than him because he knew he wasn't gonna get hurt. I mean, Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers in the last like 20 years, and his whole game is a defense game. You know, he fought Canelo, which is one of the fucking best strikers in boxing, like aggressive fighters, and Canelo couldn't even get past his Philly and all that movement that he does, a rope a dopes and shit like that. Couldn't get past Mayweather's system. So like, what in the fucking world, is Conor McGregor gonna do? What in the fucking world is fucking even worse Jake Paul gonna do? Cause yeah, nah, man, Canelo will sit there and just laugh at that kid and just be like, why the fuck? Look at the way he was laughing at these last two boxers when those guys were coming up, who, mind you, are fucking solid ass boxers in the community. The ones that Canelo fought in his last two fights, and Canelo's like, take it easy, puto, take it easy. Like, shut fuck up, fuck you, puto. I'm gonna fuck you up too, and you'll get your 5 seconds of fame or whatever, but I'm gonna fuck you up. And he wasn't lying, man. Canelo fucked those dudes up real bad. So again, like, there is no gain for Canelo to fight Jake Paul. Even the possibility of them going to him and being like, yo, this fight will make millions or whatnot. Canelo's going to be like, I make millions already. Like, how does that benefit me? Like, what am I going to get fighting you? Like, you're a nobody. Like, literally, Canelo will literally tell Jake Paul he's like a nobody. That, you see, like, that's the thing too. Like, there's a lot of people. So like so I didn't understand, because I didn't watch the fight. I didn't need to watch the fight because I knew it was going to be stupid. But was it that if you had Netflix, you got the fight for free? Or was it that you have Netflix and there was a charge to watch the fight? Let me know in the comments, because I really don't know how that went. Biggie says, I feel bad for the people that bought tickets for that fight, because all of that good fight was that a Katie versus Amanda fight. I don't know who that is. I don't even know who those people are. So like, it don't even matter. No one. And it sounds bad. It's good for those two fighters that jumped in the undercards, because they're just going to get noticed, right? And most of the time, I think people were saying there was like streamers that were fighting again and all this shit. But like the women fighters, like they brought in some actual fighters that did good apparently with their shit, but like no one really gives a fuck, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it took Jake Paul to put a card together for you to acknowledge that these two female fighters existed. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be fine on their own. They were out there doing the stuff. Hopefully they got paid very, very well. These two female fighters that went out there and did fucking fantastic. Hopefully they got paid well. Because like, yeah, man, if you're not out there like supporting these fighters outside of this fucking debauchery, then yeah, you're not really a fan of those boxers at all. So now that they're out there and they got acknowledgement from it, like, fucking blessings on them. I hope you continue to follow their career in real promotions, not in this weird fucking celebrity deathmatch bullshit that they've been putting on for years. So Chrissy says, I couldn't get past the Netflix issue. And she said, yes, it was free. Oh, well, there you go. You have, I mean, Netflix right now has Netflix viewership. Not viewership. What would it be? Subscription numbers? Yeah, let's say subscription count. Boom. What does it got? Regionally, it has 96.1 subscribers in Europe, 84 million in the US, and 52 million in... Can you just give me a fucking global number? 282.7 million subscribers worldwide, third quarter of 2024. There you go. That's a lot of fucking people trying to watch one fight for free. You know what I mean? So again, it's just commonly known that, you know, it was probably going to mess up. Netflix was buffering way too much. So it was like pause and go. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way they were going to get that. I mean, weren't there problems with like certain things that was going on with Netflix also, where they would like release a series and everyone would go out and watch it because they wanted to either like review it or make a content for it or whatever, to be able to do stuff on their own personal stuff. and everyone jumped on to go watch it first to be able to put videos out, and it would like crash Netflix. I want to say that there was already series like maybe like the Daredevil series or like Defenders. I want to say that there had been series before, just series alone, that have screwed it over. Is this the first time though that Netflix does a live series, or did they do this stuff before with concerts? That's what I want to know. Yeah, because I've told people before, I think it's great for Netflix and all the streaming services to get the opportunity to show movies right out of the theater. Like, fuck theaters. I think theaters suck. I think they're cool for dates, but popcorn for like $15, a Coke for $5, all this shit. It's just ridiculous on the price of everything else. Like, fuck theaters, man. They need a whole new revamp. But yeah, I want to say like it's been like that for a while, where you'll have your up and downs with Netflix with streaming services and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you thought of the fights. And yeah, onwards. Let's jump into some nerd quality shit, guys. So this past week for nerd stuff, there was a okay amount, but I think sports is where it was for this week. We did get some information. Of course, we got a whole new slate for what Disney's going to be doing for 2025. And I want to be able to cover that with you guys and talk about all the shows that are coming out. There's going to be some like Pixar shit and like kids movies. I'm not really like, if you know who I am, I'm not really like hyped about it. But of course, like the opportunity to cover this and get you guys updated on that stuff is something we're going to be talking about. We got some Marvel news. I'm going to talk about the Penguin. I finally started watching the Penguin show, and Arcane episode or season 2, episode 4, 5, and 6 just released. If you haven't been watching Arcane, you are missing out. The show is a masterpiece. It's beautiful, very well written, and the second season is not letting me down. It's every episode is coming out as a banger. The story is beautiful, it's touching, it's charming, everything is really great. So we're going to be able to talk about that. That's going to be the last part. But first part of the situation is all of my people that are out there in the nerd community that are nostalgic lovers. We have some news of an actor coming back out of retirement and jumping back into into the world of acting, and he's not coming into a slouch of a show either. We got confirmation this past week. Actually, we got it during the weekend. We didn't cover it during the show last week, but Macaulay Culkin has been added to the cast of season 2. And what's his name? The guy that plays Urkel got added to what is that show? The Skeleton Crew for Disney. So like, how cool is that to be able to see some of the actors that we grew up? But Macaulay Culkin is going to be coming in Fallout season 2. What's up, David? Show's good. Yeah, boy. Fallout season 2 has added Macaulay Culkin to the cast. And it's so cool because, I mean, who isn't a fan of Macaulay Culkin still? Like that guy, Home Alone, all the series, the Home Alone series and all that stuff. Literally, I think that's really all it is. Richie Rich, like a couple of other shows that he did. He did, what was that one about the bees? The one where he gets fucking, he's like yeah, I can't even remember me. I know. What was it, dude? Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, man, Macaulay Culkin is out here doing some crazy stuff, man. So yeah, Macaulay Culkin is going to be in the new Fallout series. If you have Jamal White, right? Jamal White, yeah. Urkel himself is going to be coming out in Skeleton Crew, which is really, really cool. Yeah, but Macaulay Culkin, what do you guys think, man? I mean, it's been a while that we've seen Macaulay Culkin come out. His brother, I want to say it's his brother or his cousin, is the one that comes out in Scott Pilgrim as the gay roommate, right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but he's been in the film industry for a while. He maintained. Macaulay Culkin got out of it. I think he married this guy. Who did he marry? Was it Michael Jackson's daughter? I think I can't even spell it. Macaulay Culkin wife. American actress. Is that his wife? Married? Yeah. Rachel Miner. Yeah, I thought he was married to Macaulay Culkin's wife. Oh, Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song's relationship. Yeah, Brenda Song is the girl that was Wendy Wu back in the day during the Disney Channel series. So like that girl, Wendy Wu, she came out in Zack and Cody, the one about the ship. She was like the rich Asian girl that was in it. That's his wife right now, and I think they have a kid too. So like, yeah, he's kind of been in the Hollywood scene for a bit. Really hasn't done a lot recently, but to see that he's coming out on Fallout 2, Fallout 1, the first season was phenomenal. It went really well. No way of thinking that Fallout, if for as a video game, was going to be like a successful show or not. It did really well. A lot of people praised it. I thought it was fucking fantastic. Everybody did such a good job. So to see them using someone like Macaulay Culkin to come in, um, yeah, I'm about it. You know, especially if he ends up playing some type of like scientist or like one of the elitists who still has like, you know, some type of hold with you know, a society where he plays like a high end, almost like Doogie Howser, what's his name, when he came out in the Matrix. That would be pretty dope if he kind of played that type of role. I could see that. So yeah, hopefully he does really well. Macaulay Culkin, Fallout Season 2. If you guys are about it, let me know what's up in the comment section. Tell me about it. But yeah, onwards to the next part of the conversation is going to be, of course, the Disney. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Disney slate. So yeah, guys, we're going to be talking about Disney just released a slate for 2025, all the films and television series that are going to be coming out. We have a list. Nerdist just dropped the list. So let me bring that up real quick and we'll start talking about it. Where is it? Where is it? Here? Oh, there it is. Here, Disney. Bang, brother. So here we go. Here's the full list slate for Disney 2025. Of course, Disney has put out a lot of interesting shows this past year. Some of them good, some of them bad. Of course, we had The Acolyte. I myself wasn't a big fan of it. We'll have a Star Wars debate when we start getting more Star Wars news coming up, especially during Skeleton Crew. We'll have some guests come in and stuff like that and come and talk about it. Of course, my boy Michael Betancourt, and he went ahead and got in contact with a guy named Diet of the Force, who's got a big following on TikTok. Reached out to him, asked him if he'd be interested in coming on the show, and the guy said he was full. Like, he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm totally down to come on your show. It'd be super dope and stuff." So we just got to set the right day during a Star Wars panel, come and talk some basic stuff, and yeah, apparently they're gonna be you know, Star Wars is in talks right now to do like a Rey series and all that stuff. Yeah, Eels, what's up, my man? Acolyte was not a good show. Ahsoka Tano was okay, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was a little bit under okay in my opinion. Do they all play into the overarching story of Star Wars? Yeah, I guess, like, in a way, but not in the way that we wanted it to, which is, of course, like, everybody talks about the toxicity of the Star Wars fan base, but nobody ever talks about the idea of, like, if the fan base ever truly got a coherent ending to the actual Skywalker saga, instead of it just being thrown in and overlapped over a whole new saga, which has no credibility to the origination of what Star Wars was. Them shoehorning Rey and into the story about making her the main character, her being a Palpatine, which is like just a villain character that's been throughout the series, never really like part of a prophecy. You know, the Skywalker clan had always been part of like this prophecy that was going to bring balance to the Force, and it's like, okay, like that's based on like some type of spiritual nature, religious nature, or some kind of like breakdown in the system of what Star Wars and the Force and all that stuff is. There's nothing in those stories that's ever been acknowledged in the Skywalker saga over the 30 plus years that the Palpatines were going to be like the antagonist, or was going to be like the official mark of like this head of the dark side Hydra main villain or anything. It only talked about that there will be someone born that will bring balance to the Force, and that was Anakin. So like that it's already been fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like that only prophecy, like, so like, you know, I don't understand the Rey saga yet. Like, I don't care what it does. Like, Palpatine coming in and being the heroes, like, not really about that shit. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but yeah, like I said, we have a full slate of 2025. We'll go through this and kind of like talk about it openly and see what's up. Starting off with in January, which is starting off right, fucking A, like right off the beginning of the year, we're gonna start getting stuff. Like, if you look at it, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. One movie, which is the fucking Fantastic Four. October, November, December. So 2 things out of Disney every year or every month. That's wild. And if you look at it alone, if we look at just Marvel shows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Marvel shows, which is of course like, Marvel is what we talk about. Star Wars is going to get 1. We got literally I think only 1. I don't even see I see Andor. Am I missing something? Yeah, just Andor is going to be the only thing. So, jeez, man, that's crazy. Okay, so let's start it off. The first show is going to be Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, an animated series that has been pushed on and talked about since last year, D23, D23, which is a Spider-Man cartoon based on his first years in high school, based on Tom Holland's character. But instead of Tony Stark being a part of his life, it's going to be Norman Osborn. And I've heard about it. I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm kind of not intrigued with getting more multiverse stories unless they're in the What If series. But for them to come out and be like, hey, look at what Norman Osborn could have done because we used Tony Stark. That's what they should have done originally. They should have used Osborn, but they didn't. They went another way because they wanted to shoehorn him into the Marvel universe. But they did. They went that way. But now we have a problem. We have we have a Spider-Man who knows exactly what Norman Osborn is going to be and what he does. So even any way that you initiate a Norman Osborn into the live action series, this Spider-Man, Tom Holland, knows exactly who it is. So again, with that being said, I really think that with the series that we're going to be getting for Spider-Man, the first movie or the second movie, we're going to get some dire situation where he dies and they do the Spider-Verse thing and they bring in Miles Morales, which is going to end up being our new Spider-Man. But you've seen all the stuff. They can't really kill Spider-Man off before Secret Wars because the Russos want to use him because of because of Tony Stark or whatever the fuck. But again, if Trigger was here, he would tell you too, you cannot have Secret Wars without Peter and Miles. So they're gonna have to. They have to bring in Miles Morales sooner than later. It's the way it works. Unless they don't use him, and then you don't have anything with the Spider-Man or Miles. You don't have any reason to bring him into the series, or they still don't have a way to bring him in. So yeah, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Norman Osborn, animated series, all dealing with the first year, high school years of Peter Parker. There's that. Captain America Brave New World is the second one to come out in February. The trailer just dropped. An extended trailer just dropped last week, and everybody saw it. Came out with the Thunderbolts. Really, really cool, based off of the D23 in Brazil that they did. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's very grounded. It's down to earth, which is something that the Marvel films haven't really been touching base on too much. They're bringing in the Celestial that came out in the ocean. The story kind of revolves around that, which are fucking finally giving us some structure based on the Eternals, because no one gives a fuck about the Eternals. So they have to bring some attention back to them and how to use them, because again, I don't know what they're going to do with them in Secret Wars, but we're finally getting back into the ocean of the giant creature that's there. The Americans and the different countries are fighting for it because apparently there's a new resource that the body turns into, which is adamantium, which is the shit that's in Wolverine, which, if it's solidified, I don't know how the fuck you get it to melt or get back to a liquid form, but I'm going to have to digress from that because that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, apparently people are fighting for it to get this new fresh resource, which opens up with the idea of them starting in some way the Weapon X program, which was in the Ultimates universe. They created Captain America as this new superhero, but he was lab created, which then got a bunch of other countries around the world to say, well, if the Americans do it, we're going to do it. And that's where you get the Weapon X being 10, because there was 900 variations of that weapon structure that was being built. So you get this opportunity for different worlds to build different superheroes. And, that's where the adamantium thing comes in, or it becomes a big, a big calling in the comic book. So I guess that's where they're going to get inspiration from, the Weapon X program or whatever, to build in Wolverine and all that stuff. Is that how they shoehorn Wolverine into the universe before Um, before Secret Wars, doubt it because you already have it from Deadpool, Deadpool 3. So with Deadpool 3, they already shoehorned Wolverine, X-23, fucking everybody if you think about it, the X-Men, Colossus, like you can literally fucking do whatever you want. Cable, you can bring all those dudes in now. Sinister because of the X-Men series, the animated series, like, and he's in Secret Wars as one of the generals. There's already a fuckload you could do, and Gambit for no fucking reason. But still, like, Channing Tatum did great. Yeah, but Captain America: Brave New World initiates this idea that the Falcon, who is now Captain America, has to fight Thunderbolt Ross, who has been not medically DNA changed into the Red Hulk, which you've all seen in the trailers. There's no there's no spoiler there, but apparently Brave New World is supposed to move into don't quote me on this. This is just rumor. World War Hulk, where the Hulk ends up being like the villain of the planet, and you get the Sentry, which we're getting in Thunderbolts and all this stuff. So there's a lot of things that connect in there, which is very nice. The next movie is going to be Win or Lose. I really don't know what that is. It's a Pixar film. Haven't heard of it. Really, the Pixar thing's really not my thing. So there's that. Of course, the next one, March, dude, right off the beginning of the year, we're gonna get some fucking bangers, bro. Daredevil Born Again. Of course, we saw the trailers or like a little teaser in some video that popped off a couple of weeks ago where we got to see some like actual videos. We've had the Kingpin character come out, the actor saying that the way that he was portrayed or asked to portray the Kingpin in the next series has been like the darkest version of himself. So like if you're a fan of the way they did Daredevil in the Netflix series compared to the way they did Daredevil in Echo and in the She-Hulk series, it's right up your alley, man. It's going to be right there. So more than likely, it's probably going to be rated R. It's going to be dark. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be a fucking crazy fighting and super exciting. And of course, I think I said this in the trailer when we watched it, that Kamala Khan's dad is in the trailer, which means there's this large possibility we're going to be getting like callbacks to all of these characters coming in the Daredevil series. Because of course, like Daredevil does represent a bunch of different superheroes and super people. She-Hulk more than likely will probably make an appearance in Daredevil. They do have some kind of relationship. So, yeah, there's some cool like crossovers and stuff like that I'm kind of excited for to see that. Of course, with Daredevil, the original Netflix series, it was pretty much cut and dry. Just Daredevil, just Elektra, you know, not really breaking into like Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or any of the characters, Iron Fist, Danny Rand, like nothing really of that in the Daredevil series, only him specifically. So like to get that opportunity to see a bunch of like the Kingpin, Spider-Man, Kamala Khan, you know, maybe John Burton, the Punisher is going to be in it. Just as many characters as She-Hulk, like I said, like just a bunch of cool versions of the characters coming out and doing some stuff would be really pretty dope. Then we have Snow White, which is with Renee Zellweger. I think, of course, there's a lot of scrutiny around that because they changed the character's race, even though she was made primarily in the original Grimm stories as a Dutch female. They totally changed her to like whatever Renee Zellweger is. I don't even know what she is, but yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. And then of course she came out and, you know, bashed a bunch of people and talked a bunch of shit to, of course, the fans, and everybody knows you don't do that. They ended up instead of hiring, you know, with this whole like culture of representation and stuff, instead of hiring people that are of smaller stature, like little people, not, the people that are born little, they ended up doing, what was it? They hired a bunch of regular sized normal human beings and just shrunk them down with CG. So then that was called out. And then the company, what they did is instead of doing the right thing, because of course we have like actors that have been little, that have helped tremendous shows, Star Wars with the Ewoks, all the actors that were portrayed that, Willy Wonka in the original cast. And then of course in the newer films that were, again, except for the weird Johnny Depp one, the last one, they had a little person doing it. But like there's always been this opportunity for people of that classification of person, a human being, to actually have an opportunity to be successful in Hollywood. You know what I mean? And this show was like, no, well, fuck them. We'll just make everybody CG, which of course, like the Snow White characters have always been this very over the top looking, big noses, very Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But Lord of the Rings did the same thing, man. They hired normal sized people. So, yeah, there's just been a lot of scrutiny around that show. I really don't know what they're gonna get out of it. So, but yeah, Snow White, the amateur, uh, Rami Malek, the guy who played the singer from Queens, is in the show. They dropped the trailer. I haven't been able to see it, so that one's coming out April. Andor season 2, Andor season 1 was great for a Star Wars film. It was really good, very grounded, very nicely made. So, given that we're getting a season 2, like that's really nice. And of course, Thunderbolts Asterisk. I am really excited for the Thunderbolts film. Very much looks like a very well designed Suicide Squad for Marvel. All the characters look like they're going to bounce off each other very well. They're introducing probably one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe, the Sentry. I fucking have one of his bonitos here that I was going to customize or whatever. They're bringing in Robert Reynolds as the Sentry, and he's a crazy fucking character. So to see him, see the Thunderbolts looking pretty sharp, I'm really excited for. Lilo and Stitch is a live action series. This one is going to be pretty cool. Again, another series that's coming out, another film that Disney's taking from being a cartoon to live action. There's been some images and stuff like that are going around the internet. You guys should check them out. They look very cool. Of course, like the little ones in our world love the live action series. I enjoyed Aladdin pretty well. I didn't get to watch Beauty and the Beast, and The Lion King was okay. It's just I feel like they should have done a little bit more of like the cartoony CG. That would have been nice, but it was all right. But Lilo and Stitch, I mean, you can't go wrong. It's gonna feel like very much like these crazy movies where like Flubber. I don't know if you guys remember Flubber if you're too young to remember that, but kind of like that, where you get these like children to be around like these CG characters that are very like just wild and funny. I'm kind of excited for it. Leo, never heard of it. Pixar, another film. Ironheart, another Marvel film based on a character that was supposed to substitute Tony Stark when he dies in the comics. Again, we're reaching a time in comic book history where a lot of people did not accept these characters because they were shoehorned in very quickly. There was no organic movement. During the Wakanda film, Wakanda Forever, which is the part 2 of Black Panther, we did get introduced to Riri Williams and Ironheart. She played a supporting role, pretty well put together. But yeah, I didn't really get a lot of people that were super excited about it. I mean, her character was funny. It was all right. But yeah. Are you talking about Leo or talking about Ironheart? Are you excited for Stitch, Lilo and Stitch? Yeah, I kind of feel like Lilo and Stitch is going to be a banger, man. If it's going off of the original movie and they're just kind of like doing it live action, like I think it's going to be good. I really, really do. But Ironheart, I don't know where I sit on the fence about it. The Riri Williams character, she did all right. She was kind of like this like almost comical support character in the Black Panther movie. Of course, what is it? The sister, I can't even remember her fucking name, of Black Panther. She did a phenomenal job running that movie. She did fucking great in Black Panther 2. Everybody did fantastic. So, yeah, I just want to know, like, I think a lot of people that are watching these Marvel films are really about it, like, and are big fans of it, are kind of wondering, like, if you're going to bring in Ironheart. We just saw that Rhodey came back in Secret Invasion, the series that maybe 5 people watched. No one liked it. But we saw that for a very, very long time from what it looks like. Rhodey, War Machine, has been a Skrull, right? So he's barely coming back. So he's barely going to find out that Tony Stark is dead. There's a Skrull that took over his position. He's going to kind of get to the nitty gritty. But we heard a while back that they're supposed to be making a, Armor Wars. Armor Wars was a show that was going to be based on War Machine. And I'm kind of wondering if they're coming in with the Ironheart show, which again, I talked about, where a lot of people in the comic books did not really accept this character. So the only time that Marvel is getting the opportunity to get people to like this character is going to be just in the show and getting people to be like, well, I hope you like it, man, because, we're really pushing this character to be successful because we can't afford, Robert Downey Jr. for another Iron Man series for another 10 years. I wonder if they're going to push in a way that Ironheart will be the introduction of Rhodey coming back being like a mentor to Riri, and then you find out later that like Happy Hogan, or during the time when they were moving the Avengers Tower out of the building that now Valentina has in the Thunderbolts, if like they lost some of the equipment or they lost some of the gear of Tony Stark, or even like the thing from the funeral that they put in the water, his arc reactor, like they're supposed to shoehorn this idea that the rest of the world that were all villains to Tony Stark end up stealing his blueprints for a lot of his like costuming or his armors. And then they all start making their own variations of it. They all start making their own variations of like the Tony Stark armor, just as strong. So like I wonder if Ironheart is going to shoehorn in War Machine's series, Armor Wars, and then they're both going to team up like an Iron Man film of Riri Williams, Ironheart, to battle like Justin Hammer, which was the villain in part 2, where he had all of those like military, Army, Marine, and Navy and all that stuff suits, but they're going to make it more next level because of the Iron Man blueprints or whatever, the armor blueprints. Because of course we still have a couple of characters. One of them, of course, being Crimson Dynamo. Crimson Dynamo has always been this like rogues gallery character of Iron Man's villains. So I wonder if they're going to bring him in and they're just kind of like holding back on them. If they're just holding it back on them bringing in the Crimson Dynamo, like I said, because we have the Red Guardian, so, and they're a part of that group. And I think they even brought in the Bear in the Black Widow movie. I can't remember his name, but yeah. From there we have the craziest, the Fantastic Four First Steps film. The first family of the Marvel Universe is finally getting its film, which is going to be released in July. I think this week they're going to finish filming it already. There's so many crazy like rumors about this show, about Reed Richards' children, Valeria and Franklin. Fucking Robert Downey Jr. coming out in it as Doom, but from like a different universe. That's how or why. A lot of people are saying that even in the Marvel universe, the real one, ours, the movies that the Robert Downey Jr. we have was actually Victor Von Doom, who was adopted into the Stark family, which I totally disagree with. I 100% think that the Tony Stark that was in our universe was Tony Stark, and I feel that it's going to be opposite. I feel like in their universe, because sometimes you get this idea that like the same face and body go across the board, but that really doesn't happen. You look at Peter Parker and all the Spider-Man movies, none of them look like Tom Holland. Nobody looks like fucking Tom Holland. So like Tom Holland don't look like fucking any of the other dudes. So everyone has like their own face. So like to have a Robert Downey Jr. character come out as a Victor Von Doom, I think it's just one of those things. Like he's going to be maybe like a young Tony Stark, and that's where people are going to be able to be like, oh my God, is that Tony? But no, it's not. It just so happens that structure of human being is used as Victor Von Doom. And then of course later on he ends up going through the same process of fucking up his body like the way the Fantastic Four did in space. So when he comes back, like he's all disfigured, and that's when he wears the mask, and you never see his fucking face again. It's just all torn up. It's just all melted, or he looks like a fucking melted gummy bear, and he just always has his mask on. So you're only going to get a Tony Stark for a little bit, but then you'll get Robert Downey Jr. just doing the voice acting, the role, and all that stuff, and working like the movie Man in a Mask, or whatever that fucking old school Three Musketeers movies is. But yeah, the Fantastic Four in July of next year is fucking crazy. Right after that, another fucking fantastic film, which we're going to be talking about later because there is a casting rumor that's going around that I'm super excited to talk about. We got Eyes of Wakanda. I really don't know what it's going to be about, other than the culture itself coming back to its origins, getting back into getting back to its deities and its religion aspect and stuff like that. So even the concept of like after the attack with Namor, I don't know per se if like the rest of the world knew that happened. Like we knew that Valentina, we knew that the other guy, Everett Ross, right, which is the guy that was the CIA agent. We knew that they both had talked to like the CIA or the government at the time, saying that there was like a third party that was attacking Wakanda. We don't know if they ever found out that there is like Atlanteans underwater. You know, the United States knows. I mean, that's the whole point of Wakanda, is keeping them a secret, right? Wakanda forever. But Eyes of Wakanda is going to be based on probably that kind of situation where they're like coming back to being that power that they were after they lost T'Challa. And not only that, we're supposed to be getting at least some variation of T'Challa back for Secret Wars, because that's a whole other crazy story in Secret Wars. After that, crazy comeback for nostalgia films, Freakier Friday, which is going to have that girl that's in the original Freaky Friday, the one that's all like messed up, Lindsay Lohan, right? Yeah, Lindsay Lohan. Jamie Lee Curtis is coming out in it, and the young lady that plays the young Ahsoka Tano is going to be in that film. But yeah, Freakier Friday, big film. You know, when I was young, my sister loved it. She's a lot younger than I am, so like I know it's probably going to be one of those films that comes back. I hope they kind of make it in class of the original Freaky Friday. Like, it deserves to come back. You know, Lindsay Lohan did such an amazing job making kids films back in the day, or at least like young teen films. You know, I feel like we don't get enough of those type of movies. The next one after that is going to be the Disney Plus series for Marvel Zombies, which is going to be the animated series specifically dedicated to the Marvel Zombies comics, or the Zombies What If series. Not the comics, but the comics, you know, were what made it popular. And if you read the comics, you knew that the comic one was good, and then the rest of them kind of fell until they came back after the whole like going through cosmic space or whatever. So Marvel Zombies seems like an interesting story, and I think that we have to have those introduced for Secret Wars because they play a huge factor in that story also. Tron Ares, I'm really excited about that. I think the Tron films are really great. I think they're really good and fun, and to see them redoing it again, I think Jared Leto's in it. So, yeah, really excited. Predator Badlands has a really interesting take on the Predator series, which is, I believe, based. Oh, is that? Yeah, because it's going to be like the Aliens film. Right? Badlands is going to be based on, I'm guessing, the series that came out a while back, which is where like they're hunting people, or maybe based on the Native American one, right? Yeah, Predator is good. You know, Disney got the rights to it a while back, so they're gonna get that money, so it's good. Zootopia 2, Zootopia 1's funny. It's great. It's fantastic. So it's gonna be another fun film. Wonder Man is based on a character that is in the Marvel universe, kind of tightly known within the people who read comics. A lot of people don't. The guy who played Black Manta in the Aquaman series is going to be playing the main character. And he is a love interest to Wanda in some of the comic books. He's this character that's super fucking strong, can throw down with the Hulk, can change matter, like a bunch of crazy stuff. So Wonder Man series is going to be a television show. It's going to be super meta, very much like the She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall kind of stuff. So kind of interested in that. And then, of course, we have Avatar Fire and Ash, which is the next film for Avatar. James Cameron, a G at making these films. You know, Avatar 1 and 2 were successful. Can't wait. But that is the entire, literally, guys, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 items coming out. That's super crazy on the idea of what it is that we're coming through. So yeah, can't go wrong. 20 fucking Disney things that are going to be slated for next year, 2025. It looks like it's going to be a crazy year for us because there's so much material that we're going to be covering, guys. So much material we're going to be fucking covering. Super excited. Disney's bringing it. Hopefully they bring their A game and it doesn't suck. Give me a moment. But there we go. Disney slate, super well done together, guys. Bang. So onwards into the Disney slate. What we were talking about. I mentioned it in the original in the listing. We get to Eyes of Wakanda, right? And in Eyes of Wakanda, we don't really know the premise. I wonder if I could find the premise for the film, right? Eyes of Wakanda. Oh, it's a television miniseries. Eyes of Wakanda is an upcoming animated television miniseries created by Tom Harris for the streaming services based on Disney Comics. Wow, so it's going to be based on wow, that's super crazy. Okay. So it's going to be an animated series. Whoa, that's super nuts. All right, we'll see how that works. Eyes of Wakanda. So it's probably just going to be more breakdown of the culture or something like that. So cool. We'll see what it does. But being that we're getting a new Black Panther 3 film after that, probably not too long, kind of just setting it up with the Eyes of Wakanda series, we did get confirmation this past week that the famous, legendary actor Denzel is going to be making his appearance in the Marvel Universe. So a lot of speculation has already started as to what he's going to be doing. He's going to be in the Black Panther film. I would like to know, you guys out in the comment section, what you guys think, and who do you think Denzel should be playing in the next upcoming film? There's a lot of people that are talking about like maybe like an older T'Challa that's from the future. Maybe the father of T'Challa in the astral plane, like a younger variation of him from the other actor that I don't know if he's still around or if he passed, but from the older actor. Bringing in Denzel is such a good thing, but I have a theory, and it's a crazy theory, as to who Denzel's going to be playing. Of course, in the Wakanda, well, not the Wakanda, actually, the WandaVision series, I thought they should have brought him in. But we are looking at the idea of Denzel Washington possibly playing Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel. If that's the case, wow, I think that would be an amazing cast for Denzel. I think he would play such an amazing role. Let me put this up. Denzel Marvel, because I had seen someone put a picture up together of this, and 100% Denzel Washington as Blue Marvel would be easily probably one of my best castings. I think Denzel could knock it out. There's no way he doesn't knock it out of the park. Like, it's just so good to see if Denzel could play this character. Let me go ahead and bring him up. Present. Blue Marvel, baby. Blue Marvel. I can't get the picture any bigger. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, Blue Marvel. Adam Brashear is this character who was a shoehorned in character from like the early 2000s of comic books, that he was very much this like super smart, like what is it? Like he studies like particles and quantum, like a quantum physicist. They were originally, I think they were supposed to bring him in WandaVision because he's associated with Monica Rambeau. He's actually dating her in the comics, but he's a physicist. He's this dude that's highly smart. Him and this other gentleman were working on antimatter and from the dark dimension or something, maybe from like the dark realm or whatever, or I forgot what it's called, but the negative zone. And what happens is they had a huge explosion. Both of these guys were hit with a bunch of antimatter, and Blue Marvel ended up being this character that literally imbues. He gets his power from the dark dimension. That means just dark matter, antimatter. Like that's what his body is imbued with. So whatever antimatter is out there in the world, it funnels through him for power. This guy is like, guys, I cannot explain to you how egregiously strong this guy is. And of course, he has his antithesis, which is antimatter man, or anti-man, who gets his powers from antimatter. He gets his from the negative. I don't even know. It's super crazy. But Blue Marvel would be such a great character for Denzel. He, again, in the 60s, he saves the president of the United States. And in that time when he saves him, his costume is cut. And they realize that the Blue Marvel, because he has like a whole like suited costume that's covered in everything, they realize that the Blue Marvel during that time is a black man, and they're going through like the civil rights movement. So of course, the president being saved by a black man during that time frame in history, the CIA and the FBI were like, hey, look, we are super happy that you're out here helping us, but if the community was to find out that you are of a person of color, they would feel underwhelmed, during that time in culture. Like they would feel like during this time frame, like it wouldn't work. And Adam Brashear like understands this, and he's like, I understand that you need me to hide myself or go away. And the United States government is like, look, we'll do anything you want. Money will take care of you. And that's kind of what happens. They leave him in a high position in the military. They leave him in a high position in science. And Yeah, very good. Like I think it's a very great story because it's already imbued in the Marvel history. That this is a story of a person of color that they could really run with. They could really run, which is exactly what they've been trying to do with all these other characters, and they can't get it right. And this is a character I think they can. And Denzel coming in to play this character, I think he'd do an amazing job if he was out there trying to be that character to bringing in like the science, the Superman style of character into the Marvel universe. I think Denzel would be the perfect Blue Marvel. So let's hope that he ends up doing that. That would be fantastic. But yeah, if you guys have an idea on who you think Denzel Washington is going to be in the Marvel universe, let me know in the comment section. My guess is Blue Marvel, Adam Brashear, but let me know what's up. Onwards into our last two parts of our conversation, which is covering the shows. I am finally getting into the Penguin series, and I do realize why now it's given some attention for them doing a Joker series. Me and Brian got to talk about this last week. A Joker series for Brian. He was saying he really doesn't care if he gets one or not. Like he already knows that character, but the care to detail of the way that they're writing the Penguin series or the way they wrote it, because it already has a season finale, it's already done, is great. It's fantastic. There's a couple of things that I'm not like too wild on, but being that I had a deep dive into Batman after the Batman series, like into the culture and the character, into its villains, into like the psyche of it. Like I really feel like in the direction that me personally, when I was doing my research into the character, I feel this show is doing the same thing with the Penguin show. And I am super blown away by it. Right now I'm on episode 4, the introduction of Sophia Falcone, the all the Don Viti character, all the family, Luca, like all of these characters that are all based with the Falcone and the Cerrone families. I think it's super good. All the characters are knocking out of the park. The character Victor has, he's a compelling character, even though he's like a support character of the Penguin. I haven't really seen or heard anything about like the season finale, but I feel like the Victor character, like something bad's going to happen to him. Because again, there's so many points as to what the writers are doing when they're saying like the Penguin never does anything without a purpose. So like, I understand that the moment that he got this Victor kid, that Victor kid's his fall guy for like the ultimate, in case this entire debacle goes like left to where he gets no way out. Like that's the kid that's going to take the fall for him. But yeah, the Penguin series is fantastic. It's really, really good. If you guys get an opportunity, I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes in, like totally worth it. Totally fun to watch. Just totally good. Colin Farrell's knocking it out of the park as a Penguin. Him putting on the whole like fat suit and all that stuff. Like I get lost in the character. There's certain parts that really show like it's almost like foreshadowing as to like the grotesque creature that Oswald Cobblepot eventually becomes. There's times where you see like very much like the I want to say like Easter eggs or like a nod of the hat to Danny DeVito's character. There's like scenes where like you're watching the Penguin like argue or get mad or scream, and there's like close-ups of his mouth and he's like spitting, and you can see like the decay of his teeth and the point of his nose, and you get those vibes that like deep down inside this guy he's a monster. Like he's not a regular person with a straight mind. He knows how to play the game and manipulate, but like he in a heartbeat can snap, and he doesn't have any recollection of any person, nor does he care. Like it's only the things that he initially, like people that supported him throughout his life, that he still loves. But like the way he treats his mother, like the way the mother treats him, talks down to him, like it's good. It's really, really good. It's a really good psyche dive into the character of the Penguin. And I could see why if you were to get this kind of like quality into like them doing a Joker film, I could see where that plays off very well too. So guys, the Penguin series, really, really good. HBO, if you haven't seen it, I think Cinemax too. Like if you have the streaming services, make sure you're out there watching it. Super highly recommended. Highly recommended. Super good. And for the last part of the conversation we are going to be having for today is something that I hold dear to my heart. I think it's a fantastic series. I think it's fucking great. Arcane season 2 is hit the ground running. First 3 episodes dropped last week, and phenomenal pulled from like the first season. If you guys haven't seen it, the series of Arcane is a beautifully animated series, a masterpiece with a beautiful soundtrack based off of the video game League of Legends, with some of the greatest champions that they have as characters in the film. Jinx, Vi, what is it? Vander, which is the father character, Silco, which is the crazy step uncle or whatever, and just Chase, Victor. That you have all of this dichotomy of characters based on like an actual society of like high elites to people who live on the streets, how they're coming and coasting, how they deal with like the very fascist variation of the community that controls the city itself, the policing state that is in that nature, and a lot of just different personalities of dichotomies in culture. And you even have like your chaos agents, which is like the Jinx character. Even the Vi character is kind of like a chaos agent also, but she's the most morally balanced character. Yeah, and you just have to where there's two different cultures. One culture is the industrial culture of like the higher elites that want to push on the industrial revolution aspect to the culture that can't afford it. And the pollution based on those items are the ones that are hurting and killing the people. There's like a drug that is out in the people also that's a somewhat of like a mob culture, right? Where a lot of like the underground cartels and gangs are the ones that are creating this this poison that's killing people and hurting people, but it's the only thing they can afford that takes away the pain. And then of course you have your overall just culture of people. Like it's great, it's fantastic. And recently they just dropped episode 4, 5, and 6. If you haven't seen Arcane, guys, you are missing out. This is a masterpiece. The first season, literally, hands down, one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life. Animated. The animation's great. The soundtrack's great. The cast is great. The voice actors are great. The story is compelling, and it's jaw-dropping, inspiring. Guys, if you haven't seen it, episode 4, 5, and 6, again, every episode that's coming out in season 2 is phenomenal. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, super worth it. It's on Netflix, and I think that's it. I think it's just on Netflix. But yes, of course, guys, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Literally like a 9 out of 10 show. Season 2 right now, again, 9 out of 10. Every episode's coming in hard hitting. And yeah, that's my review on it. I don't want to get into spoilers too much. Of course, I don't want to talk about it too much either because I don't have the guys here. I'd really like them to watch it and sit down. I bet Trigger's going to watch it. I know for sure Biggie's watching it in the comment section. He hits me up like literally every day. But, and Brian, I don't know if he's going to watch it. I'm trying to get him to watch it, but of course he's, enjoying his holidays. But guys, I want to say, we're probably going to call it here. It's already an hour and a half. It's going to be 9:30. That'd be a good time to end it. But I want to say, I appreciate every one of you. Came in to run a solo show. I had my talking points. I really appreciate every one of you for coming in. Guys, we're here every Sunday night, the Average Boys podcast, talking your nerd culture, your nerd quality, and anything nerd news every Sunday night, starting at 8 p.m. You guys make sure, like, share, subscribe, catch us on YouTube, catch us on Facebook, and any of your podcasting applications. I want to say thank you to all of our extraordinary listeners. Thank you for those who jumped in the comment section. I really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting us all the time. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And I'll see you guys again here next Sunday on the Average Boys podcast. I appreciate you. You guys have a good Sunday and a good rest of the week. Do great things, help good people, do your best to be great people, and we'll see you guys. Laters.